Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Calling all super friends, this is the Wolfman, codename Hellfire, codename Super Squid, and our young lord Phil. Sound off.
What's up, bro?
Hey.
Hello.
All right, and welcome to a very special edition of both the Flash Arrow Power Hour and the Flashpoint and Queen Consolidated podcast, because we have a round table to cover this amazing crossover. We have four. That's right, count them. 4 hosts.
That's
you can
a
tell
lot.
how excited everyone is.
Curb your enthusiasm, right?
You curb stomped your enthusiasm.
Yeah, that's more my style.
Okay, so shall we all start right off, people?
Yes.
Oh, the excitement!
All right, let's start with Flash.
Sheesh. Okay. So of course we get a lovely intro from the. By the way, does anyone else wish every show would just get rid of this whole previously?
Yeah.
It's like previously, because if you're watching this, you've never seen it before.
Well, some people do just jump in. I don't know who does that nowadays, but it's just a TV thing.
I know.
Well,
So
obviously, people did for the Arrow side this week.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
talk about that eventually.
Apparently, it's Valentine's Day in Central City for some people, with the Flash helping bring. Flash is apparently Cupid. Here's the thing, because we have some people in relationships on the. Like Phil is married, and some people have been in relationships in this podcast. If you were sitting with your significant other, and a pot of flowers just appeared out of thin air, would you immediately smile at the person you're with, going, "Oh, you must have done that"?
No, I live in an open carry state now, so I get my gun out and look for who the hell did that.
And then,
Wouldn't you feel the breeze?
And then here's this, like, it's if they both smile, like, "Oh, I don't know where this came from," but she literally looks at him like, "Oh, that's nice, honey." It's like, okay. And then the whole thing with the paint. Now, of course, you think that's great, but it kind of makes me think of that Superman story of what if Superman was British and, like, helping people cosplay. Like, that's someone's paycheck. Like, oh, I don't have to paint. There goes a day's pay. Great.
Well, wouldn't he get paid for doing the job? Because
I don't know.
It
Depends
depends
if
on
he's
if he's a city worker or not. If he's working, like if he's an independent contractor, they get paid by the hour, but the city pays them per job.
By the way, I love how I got people talking about that.
I know.
mean, if you want to know if it's that important to you, Zach,
We have
there's
this-
your answer.
We got this
well,
epic
well, we can-
crossover.
And
it's all about
apparently
flowers.
that building is from Palmer Technologies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and
And
it's yellow.
oh yes, and I tweeted that I want everyone. This is not a Reverse Flash reference,
Isn't Palmer like blue? Shouldn't the building have been blue?
right? And then of course we get the last one. Very very creep. Oh my God! Just noticed the street Flash was running on was named Queen Avenue.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's probably a real street. It's probably just like Nest from season 1. Coincidence, but anyways. And then we get the couple shoved together. Normally people would be like, "Oh, who's this?" But they went, "Oh, this is nice." Okay, so let's go now. Who wants to sum up the first action scene, or the first turmoil, as it were, with Rainbow Raider?
What, when he walks into the bank and enrages everyone
Yes,
to riot?
I would.
That was kind of fun.
I would have described it more thrilling, but yes, that's how it happened. By the way, I like how they say no one died, even though you clearly see people grabbing guns and getting ready to stab each other. It's like, oh, but no one died.
Well, you know, hey.
No major arteries hit.
By the way, a funny little offshoot about his powers, it's kind of lucky how when he enrages someone, they never get mad at him. It's like, I'm gonna go get mad at something else, run off.
Yeah, it's kind of like it gives him a few moments to get away.
Well, yeah, I think, it does. It looks like, some of the cases looks like it does affect their memory for at least 2 seconds so he can, like, disappear.
Yeah. But like in the comic, I mean, he could use multiple colors to,
Well,
bring out multiple.
actually,
all we saw this week was anger.
well, that's what's funny about it, because obviously we know he's Rainbow Raider, or Prism, which I think is a better name. They called him Prism and Raider.
But then they changed it to Prism at the last minute.
Well, that's what's funny, because we know, of course, he's the Rainbow Raider, and he can do multiple colors, but they don't know that. There was no reason for them. They should have just called him, like, Red Menace or something. They don't know he can do multiple colors.
Well, it had to do with the psychology thing that Caitlin thought of, too, though.
Well, I know that, but I'm
That's why
saying...
she said it.
Well, I'm saying they don't know he can do that yet. They only knew the red. For all they know, he can only do red. I just thought that was an interesting... I mean, it happens sometimes, because obviously we know who he is, so no one really said anything, but it's just... They wouldn't know in the universe yet.
Right, yeah. I kind of thought the name Prism was kind of weird.
Well, we didn't get much at all in the way of backstory.
Well, his name, Roy G. Bavolo, like red, orange, yellow, green,
Yeah.
I was like, really? Oh,
Yeah.
right in the gut, bro.
Oh, I didn't get that at all. I didn't...
That's where they got the Rainbow Raider from, actually. Because of
no, actually, if I know a little bit of his backstory, it looks like they've hinted at it a little bit throughout the thing. Like he was an artist, and I don't know if he's automatically.
he was colorblind too. So.
Yeah, and he was a jerk. His dad. I like the idea. His dad wanted to help his son cure his colorblindness, and the son says, "Ooh, special glasses, life of crime."
Yeah, basically.
My dad died helping me not be like other people. Life of crime.
I kind of wish we kind of stopped dwelling on the Iron Heights villains. It just seems so self-indulgent on Jeff Johns' part,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many other villains that, and we're getting to them, but this is like 3 weeks in a row, and then they had the nerve to do something like that on Arrow 2. I'm just like, okay, guys.
And then we get a nice little scene with Eddie and I don't know about Eddie and Iris this week. I don't know, something about it's like believe in the Flash. No, 2 seconds later, we need to get him. It's like, okay.
Well, they had to make. I mean, we all knew that we were gonna hate Eddie eventually. Like, I've been waiting to dust off my pitchfork and my torch, so I was just like, I gotta get this episode.
There's
out of nowhere, no preparation. In love with them last week, the week before that, but nope, pitchforks it is.
Lilith, don't pretend you put that pitchfork down ever.
I did. I love Rick Cosnet, and I wanted Eddie to be a good guy.
We've been talking about how we liked some of his scenes, and how he was being so cool to Barry and everything, and then, go get the Flash.
It's funny because there's someone who I watched the show who has said many times that he looks like the original Barry from the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've had that theory that he's actually his twin from out of a displaced dimension or something like that. Maybe.
I think he's a red herring.
Duh.
Yeah, I think really this week they tried to make him a red herring, turning him against the Flash.
I don't know how much you guys listen to our podcast, but my theory is he's the Reverse Flash's ancestor, and that's going to cause tension with Barry when he finds out. Because imagine having to be friends with someone is going to eventually give birth to the guy who killed your mother.
Well, like I said, unless you
had that theory too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, unless you find out he's the Reverse Flash's ancestor, you just kick him in the crotch 500 times so he can't have kids.
Phil likes to work in someone getting hit in the crotch every week on the podcast.
Oh, if only you were here.
Oh.
Yes, and then it could bring out your fantasy on you freak. Alrighty, so apparently we see again, of course, from before Flash up to like you said, everyone was whammied, and Detective just goes, "Did you just say whammied?"
Well, and you noticed it was a really, really good diversion because even Barry didn't realize that the bank had been held up.
That's true. And then we also see that again, this is where we see Eddie's trying to put together a task force, and I like how he's like, "Thanks, Barry," and I almost wanted Barry to go, "Why would I help you?"
Yeah, he's got to play it cool, though,
I know, and then, I don't know, when Barry's talking to Iris, he's like, wait, is Eddie jealous of the Flash? Should he be?
Yeah. That was funny.
And Joe's just sitting there like, get out of here.
Go to Star Labs.
And then we get a little scene at Star Wars, the usual, hey, this is probably what's happening. Oh, good, we'll use that later. And then, he goes to meet Iris at the coffee shop again, and he's like, "Is your name Ralph?" I mean, I don't know if that was intentional reference to Ralph Dibny, but probably not.
Probably, considering they just name dropped him last week.
Oh God! And how about when okay? Could Iris be any more oblivious? She's like, me and my boyfriend. You guys breaking up? What woman doesn't know when a guy talks like that, he wants them to break up? You know?
Unless she was just ignoring it.
Well, Iris.
Yeah, she seems a little. Iris is very. It just depends on the writer how they make her.
Yeah, I'm still not sure how I feel about her yet. Because sometimes I like her, other times it's like I just find her annoying.
I find her to be a groupie, and I don't like that.
Yes.
Yeah, they just they need to give her more that doesn't involve the Flash.
And I think that's why they kind of decided to make her go against the Flash. They kind of were like, oh, whoa, we're painting this chick with a really broad groupie stroke.
Yeah, it's like
Let's change
direction. It's like
Let's
I said,
pull
yes,
her back.
It's like I said, yes, she's a reporter in the comics, but we got to work very hard to make her not a Lois Lane knockoff. Because that's just, her throwing herself off buildings to prove, hey, the Flash will save me.
Yeah, well,
she almost went through that, and then he disappointed her with the hostage situation. So.
Yeah, and I think too now that she's kind of pulling back, she's going to have to write about something else if she wants to kind of like have a job.
No, she's just a blogger. I mean, she hasn't monetized that thing or anything. So
yeah,
probably going to be Firestorm though that she talks about, which we'll get to when we get to that thing. So the police zero in on now. What's his real name again?
Roy G. Bavo.
Oh, I'm just calling him Prism.
Cool beans.
And so he whammies the cop, which I don't care. I like the word whammy. And he I was kind of hoping when he shot the shotgun he would. Although I remember this issue of Flash where he like literally swatted bullets out of the air because he like vibrated the air really fast. I thought he was going to do that here, but then it makes sense because he doesn't know he can do that yet. But we get an appearance by the Arrow. So dreamy, as Iris says. Oh God, that scene later. It's like Oliver's on my list. Oh God.
Who has a list?
Excuse you, I do.
Well, I definitely do. Who doesn't have the list?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Well, we know she only has one name on that list, and it's very close to happening. So.
Very close to the show.
Moving along.
Moving on. No, forget moving on. What are we talking about?
If you don't know, you don't know.
Clearly. So, now, what do you guys think of Dr. Wells and Detective West's feelings towards the Arrow?
Oh my God, I was like, his two dads. They're like, come inside. We need to have a talk. We need to have the talk.
Yes.
You can't go around killing your rogues gallery.
That kid is a bad influence. Stay away from him.
But did you guys think did it make sense to you? Did you like it?
It didn't make sense. I hated it. It was so corny and cheesy. Like, and I could see Joe doing it separately and then Dr. Wells doing it separately, but them together, they hate each other. Like, Joe's still suspicious of him. You
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But I think Wells believed that Barry wanted to listen to just him, so he had to bring Joe in on it.
Okay, I can buy that. But yeah, I think it makes more sense come from because he's a cop. He's not going to like someone who's killed. I do like because he's got a point. It's like, so those people he killed the first year, those didn't count?
I mean, they were all bad guys. I really didn't care about that at all.
I know. I'm a belief. Hey, they're bad guys, whatever. Now,
okay,
here we get...
Wait a minute. We have a total double standard here. I want you to think about this. They're going on all after Oliver, even though he's changed, when they are doing what? Let's see. Catching
Guantanamo.
Yeah, they're pulling a Guantanamo. Exactly. No due process. They're just throwing people in a prison.
I
in
never
a prison and throwing away the
thought
key.
about that.
Yeah, but
that is a great point.
Yeah, but they'll say they're still alive. Oliver killed the...
Well,
how were they alive?
Yes, with Dr. Wells.
Yeah,
well,
we know
well,
Wells has
alive.
not a foot to stand on. Well, such a hypocrite. Now we get, in my opinion, where the show really takes off. I love Diggle's reaction to Barry.
The fries.
Because Diggle's, he's usually the cool, strong guy. He's just like,
That doesn't freak anyone else out?
Oh, the way he says that line was perfect. No, he says to Oliver. Now, the way Oliver does it, I kind of wonder. I wonder if we're going to see Oliver meeting a because we're not sure if metahumans existed before the particle acceleration. I wonder if we're going to see he met metahumans in a flashback.
Nah, don't hold your breath.
No, I'm saying I don't know because they do that a lot. They introduce something in the present and then we meet it in the flashback.
Boy, didn't they say they weren't going to do a lot of metahumans on Arrow this season?
Well, but yeah, there's been talk about either way because now they they are more open to the concept. So,
But can I just
their
say?
fans aren't, honestly.
Can I just say that their reasoning for coming to Central City was completely weak?
Paper thin, son. Paper
Yes.
thin.
They were like, oh, there's now if they said an iron oxide found only in the factories of Central City, then I would have been fine. But no, they literally only said, oh, it's iron oxide now. Since Central City has iron, it's like, what? You mean particles? No, I mean because it's like what?
Well,
No,
she
that's
did say it was known for the highest concentration. So.
still. I think it was.
no, wait a minute. Now, Oklahoma City has crazy amounts of iron oxide in their soil. The soil is orange. I don't think the soil is orange in Central City.
Well, it could be, honestly. I mean, it's a lot of farming. Well, it used to be and stuff, if you are into the history of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
The history of
Quite
Central
possible.
City.
Because we haven't seen the farmland and stuff. We've only really been in an industrial area.
Well, we saw the track and stuff. I mean, I'm just saying, you walk through a yard in Oklahoma City, and if you were wearing white tennis shoes, they're orange.
Are we
you know?
talking about Oklahoma City on this podcast?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So anyways, I love the way Oliver looks at Barry. Like, he's looking at him like a little brother. Like, I was waiting for you to make your movie. He cocks a little smile. You notice he's smiling more on this podcast. The Flash. Yes, Stephen Amell would smile if he was on this podcast. But anyway, I think he's smiling. Well, and that's one thing I'm liking about the crossover. They kept the attitudes of the separate shows.
Yeah, I know. I was sitting there watching The Flash, and I was like, wait, why does Oliver look so different on here? I'm like, oh, wait, probably because he's actually in, like, well-lit areas instead of all the darkness of his own show.
Really? I felt just the opposite. I felt that they tried too hard to merge. Like, from a cinematography aspect, I felt like they tried too hard to merge both filters, and it came out looking murky, and, like, if you screen cap, it was a nightmare. And usually The Flash isn't like that.
I think both arguments hold water.
Yeah, maybe not when Oliver was in costume, but, like, when they were in the coffee shop and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think both are very both good points. But because I think obviously it's not a perfect crossover, but it was good. I liked it.
I mean, I think the problem that it boils down to is that these two stories, for the quote unquote crossover, were actually pretty self-contained. I mean, if you're gonna do a crossover, do a crossover.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I do agree with that. They connected, but now, of course, apparently we learned that Diggle's cousin was hit by lightning and now has a stutter, and then we get this awesome line where Diggle goes, "Man, that's not freaking you out." And then we get, I'm gonna beat Phil to say this. Yes, this is a scene I liked a lot. I don't care what anyone thinks. I thought it was funny when Felicity's jacket caught on fire.
Her jacket or shirt.
It was her shirt.
And her shirt.
So why didn't that happen to anybody else when Barry rushed them to defuse the
Random.
bombs?
It happens sometimes.
Because everybody, like they say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If Oliver can have his shirt off, if Diggle can have his shirt off, if Roy can have his shirt off, it's only fair. And I kind of agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
It wasn't gratuitous. It was actually kind of a more comical moment.
And Iris had her shirt off earlier, so I mean, you know, hey.
Well, she was in a nightie, but yeah.
Yeah, you know.
And Cisco said he'll never forget it.
Maybe Felicity was the only one wearing polyester.
Maybe. But Felicity, Emily Bat Rickers has said that Felicity, even though the girl loves to shop and get a good deal, so I don't think that she would ever be caught dead in polyester. Especially now that we know she likes couture from the dress that Ray got her.
That's true.
So, you know.
Wow.
Anyway, that was girl talk, sorry.
First soil samples, now fashion.
Oh my god. They're Caitlin and Felicity.
We are!
Yes, we are.
Which, by the way, I loved. I liked them together a lot. Like them talking. They had instant chemistry, which I thought was cool.
They passed the Bechdel test. I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh, and I liked, because we all would ask, if we knew someone was real superpowers, we'd all ask this question. So how fast do you think he goes to the bathroom?
I would never ask that.
No, I'm not saying you would ask that specific question, but we all have so do you still jog or what? Like how he asked later, if you take the train? I'm saying we'd all have, I keep thinking of that scene from Mallrats when Brody has Stan the Man Lee and he asked him the dumbest questions you could ever ask the legend of comic books.
So would he take a can of soup and vibrate it really fast so that it would heat up instead of microwaving it, that kind of thing?
See, only Kelly would say that.
I'm just saying.
For me, I would say, do you save money on trips? You just run across the ocean.
There you go. There you
Oh
go.
my god.
I would do that. Hell yeah.
Oh
So
my.
anyway.
We digress.
Okay, so yeah, we get the scene where Iris says he's like his arms are like twice the size of his, and Barry's like, they're not actually twice the size of mine. And Felicity, now I like how Oliver knows. I like this line where he says he doesn't want my help. He thinks because he knows his methods are different than Barry's. That Barry's not going to be able to handle seeing him do what he does.
Mm.
And then we get this great training. I like the line about Barry always being late, and he's like, "How are you always late if you still have super speed?"
You notice that Iris hasn't seen Diggle yet.
I wanted it to happen. That is
Yes.
my Wiggle fan fiction needs just one scene. It just needs one scene.
Wait, what?
So that I
What?
could okay, so my crack ship of the Arrowverse is Diggle and Iris. Like, no offense to Lila, I'm just saying. Diggle and Iris. I can make that happen with my fanfic.
Because she's talking about how big Oliver's biceps are. And, David Ramsey's twice the size.
And now now during this training scene, I like how Oliver's like, oh, we're going to talk about you giving your bad guy silly code names. And I like how Barry goes right in, like,
Yes.
meet over lunch with Deathstroke and the Huntress, which I kind of like because it shows they talk. That shows they probably still talk, as friends off which
no,
them.
because he was in a coma he didn't. Well, I don't know. It was weird. I don't know. He didn't know certain things the last time when Felicity came to town, but now he knows it, and it's like they really didn't spend that much. It was weird, but I get you.
But we get
Maybe
and we
they
get this.
Skype.
Exactly, and we get this great line where he's talking about you run it like you need to. He's like, tell him with your powers you could do this, and it's true. The Flash we know goes into the situation, can process really fast. That's what I like about the show. We're seeing the Flash get born, and that's one thing I've always liked about this. He's slowly growing his. He's not instantly the Flash. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's got a learning curve.
Right,
Yeah,
and I like that about the show a lot.
Don't you think we're burning through stuff like really fast? Like we basically already have the cosmic treadmill. Like we basically have like the straight up real Speed Force now, and all this other stuff. Like it's only episode 8.
Yeah, but I mean, he hasn't used the treadmill of the time travel yet.
It's
I don't know.
coming like really soon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but come on, guys, we got to talk about Barry getting shot in the back with arrows. Now, at
He
first
shouldn't
I
have
thought,
kissed Felicity.
The meme of the herd round tumbler.
oh my.
Yep.
I like because at first I thought they were just like Tranko or something else, but then I realized when he says you heal fast and what the look Barry I love Barry's face when he pulls the arrows out.
Ah!
And it's
Shot me.
because then we know nope, those were real arrows. but I love that. I love the idea of this episode of strategy versus strength.
Right.
It's weird though because like usually it's Oliver that's kind of the brawn and the rest of his team is the brain, and now all of a sudden he's a tactical mastermind at planning. Really? What show have we been watching? I'm sorry, that felt a little disingenuous.
It did. What reminded me a lot of? It reminded me of the Justice League cartoon. Well, no, I should say Justice League Unlimited.
Mhm.
Because there's like when Green Arrow's joining, he's like, your guys are like gods. Why should I join you? It's like that's why you're joining us. You'll keep us grounded. And it reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah, but it's just like really at the end of the day, brains versus brawn. It would be Barry being the brains is all that I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like do as
Brains-
I say and not
mean,
as I do.
Barry's smart, but he's not a tactician.
Neither is Oliver.
Well,
He makes stupid choice after stupid choice after stupid
Well-
choice.
well, not in this episode.
Unless
Oh, we're only going on this episode. Okay.
Yes.
unless Diggle,
Not the last 2 years.
unless Diggle and Felicity helping them cook up this pool, the whole thing.
Well, obviously Felicity knew about it.
I forgot to mention
Yeah.
Cisco screwing with the boomerang. Oh, Caitlin running from it was the funniest freaking thing.
My bad. That was my bad.
We all would say we wouldn't throw the boomerang, but we'd throw the damn boomerang.
Oh, you also forgot the line in the beginning when they were talking about Prism and Cisco goes, what was that? What's the Star Wars line? Anger and violence.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like,
Oh, you just ticked off all the nerds who love Star Wars. Thanks, Phil.
Yes, you
You're gonna
did.
get some letters.
How about when Wells tries to get even though if Wells is indeed even if he's not from the future, he probably has future knowledge that he obviously knows who Oliver is. So he's like to Felicity, so really, and he's really creepily going, so what's the Arrow's identity? And she's like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
My secret to tell. And I'm like, really, Felicity? Because you love to tell secrets.
Hey, now
all the
wait a minute.
time.
Wait a minute. Now, in her defense, she did not tell Diggle who Barry was. That Barry had the
she
speed
kept
either.
one secret.
That's 2.
Out of 3. 2.
That's 2.
Okay, she's 2 for 2 with the draw. Fine.
I'm just saying.
Well, Felicity really didn't tell Team Flash either, because it was kind of Barry who said, "Oh, she works with the Arrow."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so Flash goes to encounter. I wonder if any of those paintings were references to anything when he goes to fight Prism.
No.
Have I? Well, I don't know. With this show, you never know. But we.
Easter eggs. No.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Lilith is the queen of it. That's why we got her on this week's podcast. All right. So big surprise. Flash gets whammied because he's trying. I like how because he goes in showing off.
The slow burn whammy.
And he's going to show off because he's like, oh, I like even because like the Prism. Of course, he made him angry, but he also enhanced stuff that was already there. He's obviously jealous of Oliver. Mm-hmm. And that's an interesting thing to be because he's got superpowers, but he's still jealous of him.
He's got those nerd guns of inadequacy. I mean, those are tough to shake.
Yes, they are. Not that any of us ever felt that.
Oh,
there are no nerds. No, there are no nerds here because, as we know, it's only the popular kids who podcast.
I'm sorry, what?
Excuse you.
Lilith, put the pitchfork down.
Yeah, you laugh.
No, I've got a boomerang now.
I don't know about y'all, but I seriously have a geek streak, so you know.
No.
Lilith is a queen geek.
I just like that though. That he that's the thing about Barry that has been frustrating me is that he rushes in head first, and I'm glad there was Oliver that makes dude, get your head out of your butt, get your head in the game, you know.
And how about when the whammy starts affecting him? He says that thing about Ryan to Caitlin.
Oh my god, what a jerk!
Yeah.
Then I thought he was gonna take a swing at Sing.
You know what's funny? I like that because it's like as much as he's getting angry, that's the one thing I thought was justified because they do pick on him like crazy and he does his job.
It don't mean a thing if you don't swing at Sing.
do up.
Go in the corner. Go in the corner.
Shot. Hey.
Go in the corner, Kelly.
My first pun in the night.
Go sit in the corner, Kelly.
You know it was coming.
You know, I thought I'd be worried like when Barry storms off. I was worried he was gonna like rush off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and Joe couldn't have done anything to stop him.
Well, they all say that. How are we gonna stop him? And Wells is like, oh, and then Cisco's got to say, boy, it'd be great if we had a cold gun now.
Feel that shade. He's like, I'm just saying. I'm like, Cisco, you were still in the wrong, buddy. Don't bring that back up.
And then Wells must have went in his future closet because he's like, well, Mr. Smoke, why don't you call Oliver Queen?
He already knew as far as I was concerned. Like he was just trying to play that game, but it was so rude of him to say that in front of everybody.
Well, we're still not sure if he's from the future or if he's got future knowledge.
He has to be from the future.
He's from the future. Be for real.
Yeah. He has his Lego room of requirement.
I like that. Now, and also we get to see. I like how obviously foreshadowing the scene with Iris and Eddie is because it's like, listen, we're talking about the Flash. He's a good guy, and nothing will ever happen that will contradict what we think right now. That's just like in a cliche when it's like, I'm going to tell you everything tonight. I'm sure nothing will happen to me in the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
I like how Eddie's like, why is this guy pissed at me?
I wonder.
So many reasons.
I know, but it's like you think. I understand they obviously don't know who he really is, but you think they'd be able to pick up on something like, wait a minute, he'd only be getting this bad if he really knew him. But obviously they'll probably just think, oh, it's because of the task force.
How did he figure that out?
I thought Iris told him.
Yeah, but he didn't know that. She warned him, but Eddie didn't know that she warned him.
Right.
Oh yeah,
yeah, not till later. I don't think he knew.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant but yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna look at it as the Flash is nobody we know. From their perspective.
Right.
So anyway.
Yeah. And then Cisco's like, yeah, I knew it was Oliver Queen. Well, I knew it was down to 150 people, but yeah, I knew it was him.
Really? 150 people? I don't know.
I've always said about comic. Well, everyone's always said that about, like, in a real world, you'd probably figure out quicker. Like they always say, couldn't you just follow the Batmobile back to the Batcave? Couldn't you do a facial scan on the bot, that kind of thing? Although apparently facial recognition still works even if you have a mask. It's like, where's Barry? Oh, facial recognition picked him up downtown.
Well, your bone structure
They
is
have
your
a
bone
tracker
structure.
a tracker on them too, though.
Yeah, well, and they know, like, for example, obviously they know what Barry looks like in the suit, so they would have a scan of him probably in the suit from other places or photographs of him that they could use.
By the way, did anyone else see this drag coming when Oliver roped him?
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that was a bad choice, Oliver.
Exactly, a bad choice.
Oliver's good at that.
Just saying.
And then they start talking about who's going to beat who, and of course each team thinks.
Oh,
Like-
I love that conversation. And then, but Felicity, she's the dead mother. Are you really having this conversation? This is a serious matter, you three.
And then we get this, which a lot of people said, the fight, which a lot of people said was too short.
Well, it was a lot of CGI, and it took them 3 nights to actually get it all together in the way that they needed.
Yeah, that's what people forget. And how
Yeah.
about when Barry figures out he can just vibrate away the tranquilizer?
Well, it would have, even if he didn't vibrate it away, he has a high metabolism.
Right.
Yeah. He can't get drunk. He can't get
He
hardly
can't have
get pranked.
anesthesia.
Yeah.
I saw a shot of him doing this building stunt. And although this episode, I thought the fight was pretty good, because when he cuts Oliver, I literally went, oh crap. I didn't know what, I know if he was going to bust a leg or something.
Yeah, the fight was pretty good.
It was really good. Like, I was a little disappointed that it was so much CGI, but it was really good.
Well, you kind of have to if you got a superpowered being versus a
Yeah,
human.
that's why I'm so
Super
glad. That's
CGI.
why I'm saying I don't want metahumans on Arrow, because the best thing about Arrow is the stunt choreography and stuff.
Yeah, it's
I-
amazing.
hand-to-hand fighting.
And Oliver actually got some one or two licks in, because he's tried to anticipate where Barry would go, so he did get like 1 or 2 shots in.
Yeah, I thought that's what more of the fight was going to be, is like Oliver, even with the arrows, aiming not where Barry was, but where he was going to be.
Yeah.
Well, he gets him with I love that shot when he gets him with the exploding arrows. Oh, and the bike arrows. Well, even though he caught the bike arrows. Well, that was later on, but still, it was awesome. A little later in the fight, but yeah, he gets him with those bike arrows and he catches, but still, that was really cool looking. Oh, and he gets him in the leg. He loves throwing that little arrow.
Flechette, yep.
Oops, Kelly using her words. Little trivia word. It's a flechette, the more you know.
That's right.
But, no, people say, of course we get the whole him catching him in the fist thing. And a lot of people, Cisco, after they get him with the lights, and then Cisco's like, it's a tie. It's like, no, that wasn't a tie. Oliver got him. He had him although why Barry didn't just run out of the hold, I don't know. But still, by that, I wouldn't call it a tie.
Yeah, well, especially seeing that, Oliver doesn't have any powers.
Right? You fight a super being, as long as you don't die, I'd call that a win.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Oliver won. He brought him to a halt.
Well, at the end of the day, because this is basically Batman and Superman, Oliver will win because Batman beats Superman every time.
That's right.
So that just answers the question right there. I'm just saying.
No, he wouldn't.
In the comic books, on a comic book canonical scale, this is the TV version of Batman and Superman. They pretty much said that. So yeah.
No. Batman has never. No, the only time Batman even really beat Superman was The Dark Knight Returns, and one, that's not canonical, and 2, he didn't really beat him. He's like, I finally beat you. It's like, you didn't even. If it was a straight up.
That's what it's compared to, though. I'm saying.
If it was a straight up Superman trying to kill Batman, he would kill him.
Well, no,
It's
that's
the
right.
philosophical principles behind Batman and Superman. They actually almost always have to have Batman win. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, and I mean, it's the Flash Arrow fight's just like Batman Superman.
Yeah.
Oliver and Batman will always cheat. The other two are always like Boy Scouts who will fight fair. The other two will always cheat. That's why they always win.
Right. So I like how Oliver does a little measuring contest with the prisons. Like, mine's on an island.
I like how we're bringing that back up because, fun fact, Manu Bennett's coming back in episode 314.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna
And who-
be
Although
Blade or Deathstroke.
I will always be against how they turned him into Deathstroke. Always. I'm
Yeah.
just
Who's
always
been feeding
against.
him?
I'm against 2 things in villain creations: misunderstandings and magic juice. I don't care if it's Miracle. It was magic juice.
It was both.
That's what I mean. And it was just, and the reason I hate it the most is because I loved what they were doing with him, making him an anti-hero so much. But we'll save that for when he comes on.
Yeah.
And we get this nice little scene where pretty much Oliver threatens everyone and says, "Yeah, you tell anyone who I am, I'm gonna kill you."
And Felicity's like, that's his way of saying thank you.
And he'd love to work with you guys again. I was like, I don't know, these interactions they've been having, like, really trying to make Oliver and Felicity seem like an old married couple.
Yeah.
It's kind of frustrating to me.
Yeah.
But then I like how Oliver knows there's something else. There's something off about that guy.
Oh
Wells,
my god,
yeah.
I know! Like, Wells just has to interject himself. It's like, you met his dad once at a function. I'm sure you wouldn't know that his dad would be happy that you're a vigilante. Like,
Right. Well, we don't...
Unless he was from the future and knew that his dad basically was up to some shenanigans. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Or do you think Wells just said that to put him at ease because he didn't want Oliver to worry about him knowing his identity because, Wells has something planned?
And by the way, Iris Flash messed up once with her, so she's gonna hate him now without any. And even it says to her, "I got hit by metahuman." She's like, "I don't." She literally does not listen when people talk to her, does she? Like,
But also he didn't make it to the hostage situation last week either.
oh well,
That's two strikes. I wouldn't give somebody a third strike either, personally.
Don't tell me you're defending Iris.
I always defend Iris, and I defend Candace Patton to the death.
You're just defending her because you kind of look like her.
Oh, not at all. But no, I do like Iris. I do. I like that she's a self-rescuing princess. I like that she stands in her own truth, in her own convictions, and she's in love with Eddie, so she's gonna ride with Eddie. Like, hey, you think the Flash is bad? He kind of ticked me off. He's kind of let me down. I'm on your side now.
He just grabbed me out of my he just grabbed you out of my car and like threw you to the street and tried to kill you. Yeah, I could.
But no, look when Oliver shows up. Look, he's like, run. She didn't even look back, son. She was like, Eddie, run. She did not look back. She just took off. I'm like, that's my girl.
Yep.
Ain't no time.
And I like how Oliver says, "Yeah, don't go after the girl." Like, of course, he's got to be the whole brooding. We can never be in love.
And then, like, Felicity's talking to her, so it's like, really, he's just talking to himself. Like, come on, Oliver. That was a little douchey. And like, then the worst thing you can do is take away someone's hope.
And then anyone writing slash fiction, I'm sure their alternative ending would be Oliver holding Barry's hand going, "Besides, we have each other."
Oh, well,
don't forget. It didn't happen. That totally happened.
Don't forget the other woman showed up.
Oh, God. I know.
Mama.
Okay, listen. I know CW wants to make everything into a soap opera, but God.
Oh, I know.
Zach, I called this last year when we found out it was going to be a crossover. That's how bad this was. I was like, oh, we got to go. Yeah, next time he goes to Central City in the crossover.
Now, did this happen? Is this someone from the comics?
Yeah, that's Sandra Moonday Hawk, dude.
I was sitting on the couch.
Listen, you know me. I'm a Marvel, and two, DC has the most convoluted universes I've ever seen, so it's really hard to keep up sometimes.
Lilith, I heard you. I could hear you all the way from here, just gritting your teeth saying, "Don't say Connor Hawk. Don't say Connor Hawk."
They better change that. He better be Wally Hawk or something, and then he's like this weird hybrid of the Kid Flash. Like, that's the only acceptable thing. He cannot be
whatever. I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but we'll see. The CW's gonna turn into a whole soap opera. I know.
Well, it was very soap opera-y with the Thea and Malcolm thing. Like, oh, like to quote Dawn, Maury Povich show, "You are the father of Thea, Queen."
And the whole trial thing with Moira's, just
oh my god!
Are we in Dallas or something?
Yes, that's the best way to put it.
And we've gotten away from it, and now it feels like they want to go back, and I don't know why. Nobody liked it.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need Arrow being a teeny bopper show.
I was gonna say they're trying to up the ratings with the 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
No, CW's so past that they really want to focus on the male demo. So I don't know what we're doing with this.
It doesn't make any sense.
I hope that was just like a ha-ha, we got you, early April Fools. It better.
I'd be fine with that.
Maybe she'll show up again in 3 years,
Again,
maybe
I'd be fine.
Maybe 8 or like 11? I don't even know now.
Okay, so we have one more scene to discuss. Firestorm. At least that's who I think it was. Who could
it was.
I know, but we got now. I don't think. Well, there's no indication that he was joined yet. Maybe. I mean, I wonder if he already is, or if it'll happen later. Because obviously we know he has his powers.
Yeah.
So what do you got? Do you guys think he's joined anything?
I have no idea how they're gonna do this because obviously they cast the second part of Firestorm with Victor Gerber, so we know
Which I'm looking forward to it. And I've also heard rumors that they're gonna have the other Firestorm.
That Jason Rush or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I don't know if that's true, but I heard.
Wasn't the outfit that Robbie was wearing the one that he was wearing in his pictures with Victor Gerber? So
I thought it was.
Yeah, so I think they probably are. I think we may see him next episode, maybe.
I have no idea how they're going to pull that off. We know that they've both been fitted for their CGI and motion capturing stuff, so I'm just really interested in how they do it. But we're not meeting them until episode 10. So.
That's true. Well,
no, we're just meeting. I don't even know if we're going to meet Victor Gerber episode 10. I just heard Robbie Amell. He's a recurring character, so.
Where's Tina?
I wish my cousin.
Oh my God, I know.
Is it next week? I thought I heard.
It was
it
funny
the finale?
because in the credits, well, not the credits, but I think that's what I get for looking on IMDb. Like, they're never right.
I wish my cousin was in a big TV show so I could get TV roles.
What? Oh, Robbie Amell?
Yeah.
Oh my God, why do they have to put the Mill Boys in bad struggle wigs? I just can't.
Wait, in bad what?
Struggle wigs, those lace front wigs they make them wear. Like you'll see, like he's
struggle wig. Oh, because this is when they're going through their stuff.
Yeah, it's just awful. It looks so bad.
Okay, well I think that wraps up Flash for this. And let's move. We're gonna move on there but we'll be right back because Lilith, we're going to be what?
Back in Flash. Even though that's Kelly's laugh.
It totally is.
I was just like, okay, I get to do it.
We did it
together.
together.
I don't stay unless you're stuck on a hellish island. Yeah.
All right, Justice Leaguers, it's time for the second part of the crossover, the brave and the bold. I'll be the brave, Lilith will be bold. You guys can pick whatever's left.
And
I'll be confused.
Well, you're used to that podcasting with me, Phil.
Yes, I am.
Oh my God, I actually like this episode better than Flash versus Arrow.
Agreed.
Which is weird because it's everybody else is basically saying the other way around, but I feel like this didn't try so hard. Like the Flash really tried way too hard to bend over backwards for the guest stars.
I can see that, yes. Well, for me, I like to view it as one big one and just pick the moments I like, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I mean they weren't. I mean I know what you're saying, but they weren't one big one because they had an ending to the first one. Yeah, they could. I mean, these could have been in 2 different weeks.
Also, a couple of things I forgot to mention, but because it's all one big show, I'll still say it's like 2 things I want to mention from the previous episode was a few things. 1, the vibrating lock was cool. 2, I thought it was unnecessary. It was weird for Oliver to torture the guy who owned the storage facility. Because he was just the guy who owned the storage facility. And we didn't get to see Prism get captured.
I know! It's like, oh, we ran out of time!
Yeah.
I know.
I just want to touch upon those 3 things.
I know, it was like, let's go get him, and then after the commercial, it's like, okay, have fun in your little cage.
Okay, so now we got that way. Now, of course, they storm the house, but belong to Digger, and it's like, yes.
Should we just call him Captain Boomerang? Because I really hate that name.
I'm good with that.
So, yeah.
Even though he's not Captain Boomerang yet, we're just going to go with it.
Or how about I'll call him by his name in this episode, Mr. Not Aussie.
I know! I was like, isn't he supposed to have an Australian accent? Is it just me?
Well, I looked up now. I like the actor, and the actor's from Lebanon. I'm like, okay. I don't know.
Are they just trying to make everyone neutral? Like, you know,
but here's the weird thing. That when they casted the Suicide Squad movie, and they casted an Aussie actor.
Yeah.
I don't know. So they storm the house. It's like there's claymores and stuff. They storm that. There's no one home. Argus shows up. Your flanking patterns haven't changed.
They were already in there. So how did they not? Did they go through like a top window?
Were they already?
They were already in the house because they came down the stairs.
No, I thought they came in the front door after after Oliver and Roy blew the explosives and went in. I thought I thought Argus came to the door.
So, okay.
No, they came into the door. Okay, this doesn't matter.
They flanked.
Yes. So, anyways, we get Cisco and Caitlin show up at Palmer Technologies, and we get a very, very blatant Batman reference.
Which was
Arrow Cave.
Oh yeah.
in my opinion, it was a very blatant reference that Batman exists in this universe.
Well, not yet.
But well, you guys can disagree, but I think it is. And of course, but then we get the reference. This is both a Batman reference and a reference to the original Green Arrow, where it says you guys got an Arrowmobile, which he did in the original comics. Because the original, as we've said many times, original Green Arrow is a complete Batman ripoff.
Now, I have a question. If Batman doesn't exist, how old is Ra's al Ghul gonna be? Because he's kind of a Batman-y university guy.
Well, it's a question.
It won't matter
No,
because he will never show up on either of these shows.
Well,
It doesn't
yeah,
matter.
understandably. I'm just thinking in my head, time-wise, timeline-wise.
And because the Lazarus Pits, it really doesn't matter.
They're not going to have. You think they're going to have the Lazarus Pits
Well,
in Arrow?
since the Flash has metahumans, they could have Lazarus Pits.
Yeah.
So
Can I just? Okay, and Kelly, Ra's al Ghul is a kind of a Batman villain. He is most definitely and completely a Batman villain.
I know that,
God.
but you know what I'm saying.
I know. It's something I've ranted about many, many, many times.
and the thing that I have to put a pin in because it's just beating a dead horse at this point.
Yes, it is. But except for one thing, I want to hear Lilith's opinion. Lilith, I think they could have easily done, instead of Ra's al Ghul, Vandal Savage. What's your opinion?
I totally agree. It would be more acceptable.
Well, that's what we said last week. They just used Roz because of the name recognition from the Nolan movies.
And I do like. Oh, and by the way, low blow from Oliver about Diggle still being married.
We're not married.
No. When Oliver says yes,
he doesn't. You don't respect my marriage. I would if you were still married. And
Oh,
then Diggle smiles. So I guess he was always meaning to propose to Lila, and this whole situation just exacerbated it. And
by the way, this awesome line for Felicity. This was a complete. I don't know if it counts as a flirt, but they pointed to Salmon Ladder, which I still can't believe. I've seen footage that Steven can actually do that, which is sick.
Yeah, I mean, duh.
Which is sick.
Did you think it was a stunt double?
I don't know.
Ain't no way.
Using
I
trickery.
mean, he shows stuff like that on his Facebook page all the time.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I mean,
she
for
says, "What's that for?"
And-
Distracting me from my work.
And when does he do it? Oh, about every Wednesday.
Yep.
And then Barry does the ladder when he
Very
comes.
fast.
That was funny when Barry does the ladder.
He cheated.
Totally.
Oh, that's funny.
Why? He did it.
Momentum.
Oh, and I love when Captain Boomerang shows up at Argus, and Diggle's like, "Is that your everything handled alarm?"
Yeah, I love that line.
You only call me sweetie when you want something.
Now,
That's
I
right.
really liked how they handled everything but the accent. I like how they handled Captain Boomerang because he's one of those villains. Just because he uses boomerangs, a lot of people have tried to make him silly.
Yep.
But boomerangs are weapons. That's how they always were. They were
Yeah.
used. It's like Barry said last episode. They were used for hunting. So someone skilled could very easily make that deadly.
Well, especially when they're metal and razor sharp.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was really surprised that Cisco didn't name him Captain Karma.
Oh God. But yeah, so I thought the fight. It's like Lil says, the fighting was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved it. I was like, I really enjoy, actually, when the Arrow and Arsenal get to fight together.
Oh yeah, and can we get one fight where Arsenal doesn't get pwned? One
That's the
fight.
only thing, though. At least it wasn't a girl this week.
One freaking fight where he doesn't get pwned.
Okay.
Could we get the reason why he's called Arsenal when he only uses one weapon?
True.
Comic book reference.
Because it was
know, but-
forced. Because they forced
I mean,
it.
I wouldn't want Roy to be Red Arrow anyway. Like, that's just me personally.
Well, no,
They
what's
both
weird
get
is
Red Arrow.
she says, Lila says Speedy, and Oliver doesn't immediately think she means Thea, which didn't make any sense because
Yeah, he thinks Roy. Yeah.
he's never called Roy Speedy, not one time.
No, he has once, hasn't he, Lilith?
Well,
I
no,
don't-
he was trying to get him to think about Thea. You were
Right,
talking about
right.
in that episode with the bomb.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. Okay,
Well, with the other earthquake machine.
So in my opinion, that made no sense. That whole joke, reference, whatever you want to call it, made no sense. It's an obvious like reference to the comics, but it's like calling the guy prison before we know if he can use the full spectrum. Sure, we know it makes sense, but it doesn't make any sense for the characters that it makes sense.
I think it's the weirdest thing because another thing that I kind of touched on in my review is that this episode, I think why for me personally was better is that we had Greg, Andrew, and Mark, and then Grain, who's like the best writer that I've seen so far on The Flash, writing this script. And so yeah, but that is a weird thing since it's the three of them writing that. It's like maybe you want to rewatch the episodes over the summer.
yeah.
And apparently, Argus agents don't know how to duck. Because he knocks down. Now, I can understand being taken down by the boomerang, but when you're the third guy standing in the open taken down by the boomerang, you're an idiot. He takes down like
Mindless drones, Zach. Mindless drones.
Yes. Now, obviously it's a throwaway line that he was part of one of the Suicide Squad. Do we think they're going to say anyone else, or was he probably the only named villain that got killed in that? Well, they tried to kill in that situation.
It didn't go off. Yeah.
Right.
They would have name dropped the hell out of it if it was anybody else on that team.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, like, Barry shows up, catches the boomerangs. I like how he's like, "It's okay, Oliver. I've been doing what you said." I'm like, and the first thing I thought, yes, that's the first thing I thought was it was what, for a week?
Yeah, especially if he didn't battle any metahumans. It's like, since when?
Now, this is the part I really don't like, because it's one thing if they made him ambiguous with his origins, but they clearly say Digger was ASIS. They clearly say that. And so it's like, then why didn't you just give him an Aussie accent?
Yeah. It's kind of like Manu Bennett, like even though he's like from New Zealand, like they like wanted, like if you ever listen to it, it doesn't actually, only in certain words does it sound like really thick. It's almost like they tell people not to, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's weird. I don't know why. It's kind of hard too for closed caption, I guess, maybe.
I don't know.
People that read lips, I don't know.
Well, closed captioning, there's somebody that types out everything, but if you're lip reading, it would be difficult if you're American trying to read it.
Oh yeah, by the way, I like when Barry shows up and like was all freaking out, and he's like, you didn't, my bad, sorry.
Yeah, Diggle can keep a secret. He's the only one.
One thing I like how there wasn't even a hint of an emotion of, she was like, how could you keep that from me? She knows they both have secrets they keep from each other. There wasn't even a moment of that. I mean, I'm like, boy, is this a CW show? Because that was a really opening for a CW moment. I mean, you guys...
They're trying hard, but I like how he's like, you want sushi? Like, sushi's gonna make everything okay? I mean...
Yeah. Yuck.
Did he run all the way to Japan for fresh sushi? That's what I want to know.
Let's say that he did. Okay, and apparently, Barry has been practicing because he's developed the uncanny ability to fuse metal when he puts the boomerangs back together.
Well... just heat, so vibration would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, from speed friction.
But I thought it was cool that he's using his CSI skills. You know, there in the cave. You know. You
know what's funny? When Cisco said "kaboom boomerang," I didn't realize
it's a brand.
I thought that's what I thought he was saying. I thought he was saying kaboom. I didn't realize that was his first attempt at naming him. And tell me I'm wrong. Doesn't that sound like a Mega Man villain? Mega Man faces off. Kaboom boomerang. I like how most of the time names people don't listen, but the second he said that horrible name, they're like, no.
They couldn't use whammo. It's already taken.
So they look and he apparently Cisco has a knowledge of weapons makers. Okay.
And toy manufacturers. But...
Right. Moving on. And they find out that the weapons maker is actually once arrested by Quentin Lance. They go and talk to him, and we get a really forced burst. Is that his? Impulse. And
I'm like, over here dying, bro.
I'm sure there was a Flash called Burst or something. I don't know. All right, the DC fans laughing at me. Quicksilver's faster. So, anyways, moving on. So they talked. I like how Quentin's like, I don't remember everyone. Like he says, beat day. Like he almost grits his teeth when he says it. Oh, he's like, you were hit.
That.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's the one interaction that I was hoping we were gonna see that we didn't get either episode is Quentin and Joe West.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, they don't like, they've been sidelining Paul Blackthorne's Quentin Lance, and like really they have Joe West on a pedestal. So I think that would be like rough to pitch. Like, why does this old guy get on?
How about Quentin's reaction? Does anyone else want to see Captain Lance's reaction to a metahuman?
He's gonna have a heart attack. No, I don't.
And the Bratva's back, kind of
briefly. That we don't know if Oliver's still a part of. I would say no, Oliver.
Well, it would be interesting if they have an episode where he has to do something to get back because he needs their connection again, so he has to do another favor for them or something.
No, I don't think they're letting him back in.
Probably not. Well, the guy he's friends with, like, I like that character. I want to see him come back.
Well, season 4 flashbacks. Get ready. I'm calling it.
Yeah,
What, Russia?
Seriously.
with love.
Now we get the torture scene, which I think is because people in the school thought about torture are usually like it's either an effective method of information or people will tell you whatever you want to hear to make the torture stop, and I think that's shown here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously
Well,
Barry just freaking out about it.
I think part of it was too that people have realized that Oliver, they know his reputation, and or that's kind of I think what they were trying to get at was they know his reputation and they expect that kind of behavior out of him, so they played him.
Well,
And
yeah, because especially after season 1, after he killed people, I'm sure.
And
a lot
well,
of the
it's
criminals don't know
interesting
he changed.
that you need someone, an outside source, to go, hey, dude, you should really stop this. Like, Felicity and Diggle, just their minds are so focused on what needs to be done, they've never thought about it, but Barry is an outside source. And I like how Oliver's like, Central City, where the sun always shines.
Yeah.
Now, this part I really like because he's like, he's naming all the horrible stuff that's happened. But then when he gets to my mother was killed in front of me, Barry's like, my mother was killed in front of me. And you can almost see Oliver go, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought it allowed Barry to go toe-to-toe with him in the argument.
It was interesting because people forget that about Barry.
Right. It reminds me of this great College Humor list where they put like superhero origins more depressing than Batman, and Spider-Man's was like at the top of the list because and people have joked about this all the time. Well, Batman's origin, of course, he's a kid that loses parents. He was also a kid who's rich as hell, and his guardian was someone he could fire. So. But again, back to Arrow. So they did. I like the awkward silence of the moment, like it's like everyone could feel the tension between Oliver and Barry.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we get that moment that we and Lilith discussed where it made no sense that he called Roy Speedy. Now, so they get the location of in my opinion, looked like and by the way, did anyone catch there was a neon sign that just said guns?
Yeah, and
Yes.
Lexus.
Yeah. Oh, okay, now we get the flashback. Now, I understand but Waller would never, okay, then again, she might. It's just, I like how she gives Oliver's first torture thing to a guy that set a bomb.
He was destined to fail. That's just the type of person Waller is.
Yeah,
Right.
I know.
Manipulate him emotionally.
Halfway through saying that, I just realized, Waller would totally blow up a block of the city just to guilt Oliver. Hell, she'd make up the bomber just to see if he would torture. Oh my gosh, she totally would. All right, so yeah, so that takes care of two of my notes.
I did like the flashbacks this week because we're back to them having a cohesive message and theme that directly relates to the present day.
Yes.
It's been a long time.
Yes, it has. A long time coming.
What, a flashback with a point?
Yes.
Ding,
Wait a
ding,
minute, you
ding.
mean the flashbacks are allowed to have points?
They used to have them all the time. They stopped it somewhere around episode 217.
Now they're about doing laundry.
I like that flashback too, even though it was pointless.
Yeah. That was funny.
Chicks with swords. Always a win.
That's right.
It's coming from a chick who
And
probably has a sword.
I do too.
And then we get the nice existential discussion about metahumans. So forced.
Ah, that was kind of a logic fail for me because I feel like a metahuman can rampage through your city a lot more easily than, say, a terrorist attack that only blows up half the city. I don't know. That just kind of didn't ring true for me.
Yeah, but Oliver's not going to call him that.
What?
Metahumans.
Oh. Just being... Dude, he was a sourpuss, stubborn blockhead. Like, it just...
Yep.
I don't know, like, in a way that he usually isn't. He was on edge this whole time that Team Flash was there.
Well, I think they really wanted to contrast him next to Barry. They wanted that whole Superman-Batman vibe.
They wanted the whole beginning and bookend scenes.
Yeah, but
And
like
then
you have to let that happen naturally. You can't force it.
You
And a
can't
lot of
shoehorn
people
it.
felt forced.
We also find out that the security for the Quiver sucks.
We've always known that. That's like the fifth person that's found their hideout. Like, really? Just
Well,
walked in?
it's not just about finding it; it's about getting in. It's like,
It's a security door. Like, I guess a little electronic doohickey.
Keypad.
Yeah.
But one thing we also get here is Felicity kicking butt a little bit.
Not even a little bit. She threw a little grenade or whatever.
Hey, it worked.
That's stretching it. I mean, I love Felicity as much as the next person, but I will. Nah, that's not action. That's self-defensive maneuvering. Lila, on the other hand,
That's self-preservation.
Yeah, but Lila, you expect it.
She got some in at Captain Boomerang. Lila was the best she's ever been.
Yep.
I know, and then she took that boomerang, and I was like, wait, Lilith's writing this
I
episode now?
didn't mean it. I love you, Audrey. I didn't mean it. I was like, what about Sarah?
Oh, yeah, and by the way, apparently someone with a gaping chest wound is completely fine to be transported at super speed.
Yeah, and she joined Twitter that night, too.
Yeah, I was like, that's how I knew she wasn't dead. I was like, you can't just have somebody join Twitter the day they die. That's totally. Anyway.
And then we get some flash.
And her clothes don't catch on fire either.
We don't know that.
Yeah, you didn't see her.
Oh, that's true. But
and then, now I think of it, now that I see Waller talking about the victims, now I think she did set that bomb off just to say, hey, your fault.
Yeah, how would she know she was studying to be a veterinarian? Just saying.
And here we have a description of everyone's families ready for you to read. I forgot to reference something earlier. I like how the first shot of Thea is basically, hi Thea, bye Thea, when the flash runs by her.
Yeah,
okay,
we had
Quentin, Laurel, and Thea were all contractual obligations.
Yep.
Yeah. Then Cisco tries to get permission to hit on Thea, which doesn't work.
It's like, so that means I should just leave that alone. Okay, then.
Cisco, I'm one for that, especially geeks and nerds should shoot for the moon, but no, you don't got a chance.
Poor Cisco.
Even if they... No, just no.
He's adorable, though.
By the way, did anyone see that picture that's circling around of Willa Holland and John Barrowman and Colton Hanks? It's basically her just flashing her butt to the camera and both of them going,
oh my.
Yeah.
Creepy dad.
Well, and her dad's gay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Moving on. Then we get...
Jack just had to throw that
Yeah.
in.
And, hey, she's the one who threw it out there. So we get this scene between Oliver and Barry, which I liked, where Oliver's saying he's losing his humanity and Barry says he's full of crap.
It's good somebody's calling him on his crap besides Felicity.
But that's what I'm saying. Barry's an outside source, so and I like that a lot.
Yeah. It's like, shut up, you don't have to be completely dark.
That's right.
Yeah, but I did like him telling him that the Arrow was a douche and that he should try to inspire his city by being Oliver Queen. Because that's what I want to see.
I'm curious to see where they're going to go with that, if they're going to go somewhere.
He's going to be mayor of Star City. When Star City gets renamed, he's going to run for mayor and win it.
Ooh,
and then it's also going to star Queen Industrial Heat back up.
That's right.
Philanthropist.
That's right.
Well, it's funny, because I've said this before. It's like it's like Oliver trying to take his company. Oliver shouldn't be the head. Oliver knows nothing about business. Like,
well,
nothing.
But he's going to learn because he's going to have to build something from the ground up.
No, learning from building, but he shouldn't take over a company.
Well,
so
it was
that's
his family's company, and there's plenty of instances of that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from then, they go and confront Captain Boomerang. Now, the thing I find funny about this scene is he's like, yo, I know you, Chess, and that's why I set bombs. Now, you either take me down or get rid of the bombs. You can't do both. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, because it's not like there's two of them and one of them can run at super speed.
Exactly. Same thought I had.
Yeah.
Now, I like this guy playing, except for the accent, of course, but I like the guy playing Boomerang.
Nick Tarbell.
Yeah. What'd you guys think of him?
I liked him.
Yeah, he was fun.
I mean, but like,
cool costume
again,
too.
It's an Arrow villain, episodic Arrow villain. So it's just like he did good, but there wasn't much meat to it.
No, there wasn't.
We didn't get any backstory really, or
we got a little bit, and it's completely different from the comic book. So
you know what's funny? I thought Barry was gonna grab the bombs and put them in front of Digger and be like, "You gonna defuse him now?"
Barry's not that guy though.
That's true.
He's a good guy. He's not vindictive.
Riding that gray line.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be Oliver with super speed.
Yes.
It so would. The next crossover needs to be them having their Oliver getting Barry's powers.
Yeah, them being merged.
No, not merged. It'd be like when Lois got Clark's powers on us.
That could be fun too. Yeah.
I like.
That.
Either that or
I was gonna say-
Cisco gets Barry's power.
They're totally gonna do that, aren't they? Well, Cisco. I mean, do we think Cisco? I mean, I don't know. I can't see Caitlyn becoming Killer Frost, but you think Cisco could probably become Vibe?
I think that they would make it a tech. He wouldn't be a meta. Definitely be tech since he likes to make the toys. I think he's gonna get inspired by Barry. That's my theory about Cisco.
Right. I like this scene where he's like, he does the cold villain thing, like you're not killing me because you're weak, blah 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 blah. But I like how he's like, no, it's because I'm still human. He shoots him, but he still shoots him in the hand, and Barry's just like, oh, Oliver.
Well, and then the second era, for good measure.
Yeah,
you
right.
skipped the scene though. The best scene personally for me was when Cisco's in the van with Roy and Diggle.
Yes.
No, I mentioned
that. Was
that.
my favorite scene.
I said the existential discussion of metahumans.
Oh.
Did you guys
I thought you meant at the bar. They had like 3 different conversations, like at the bar where they're like, "This is life and death," and then there's a kind of difference with.
Yeah, but then Cisco got distracted by Thea.
Did you guys notice that? At least to me, Roy kind of takes on he kind of reflects the people that he's around. Because did you notice when he was around, Cisco and them, that he was more lighthearted than he normally is? I just picked that up.
He's also not his own age too.
Yeah. It's almost like he's a mirror to who he's around.
But they did tell him he looked good in his Arsenal suit like twice. So.
Yeah. Well, when he's with Oliver, he's more broody and dark. But when he's with Caitlyn and Cisco,
Oliver, would you want to shoot yourself?
Okay, so we get this nice little sweet scene, which we knew was coming, where Diggle proposes to Lila. I mean, we knew it was coming, right?
I mean, they said it like 4 different times, bro.
At least that they weren't married.
Yeah. I like how she says, "Shut up, so I can say yes." That was sweet. So yeah, so we get that, and we'll get the discussion at the end where they have a little spot for Barry's suit. By the way, have you noticed we've never seen anyone actually put on their suit?
Oh yeah,
we've seen them take it off, never put it on.
Yep.
So impractical. It's just really.
So,
I want to see.
Is that their way of saying they're gonna have more crossovers?
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh yeah.
That was really cool, actually.
So does that mean we're getting more crossovers then if Barry has his own
year.
case?
They said that they're this was like way too daunting.
Mm.
But like next year you could probably expect 2. Because they got something cooked up for the finale already in their heads.
Oh, I'm sure.
It seems pretty cool. So.
So in this, they're doing all the discussions about like they're put like Captain Boomerang's now a prisoner with Slade Wilson. They still and they said, and there's now. How soon do you think we're going to find? Now, obviously, we know that Ra's al Ghul killed Sarah, or Huntress, one of them.
We do.
It's got to be one of them. Who else could it be?
It's not the Huntress.
I'm just saying, if you had to pick the suspects with black arrows.
We don't find out who killed Sarah until episode 12.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but did you notice when Captain Boomerang came into the arrow cave, the quiver, whatever you want to call it, and Lila picked up an arrow and threw it?
Yeah.
There's no way it could be Lila, could it?
It might be. That would be the biggest.
Oh, God,
thing.
Argus. Oh,
and there's
God.
been things that have been said about Argus being shady, and this whole thing about why Lila slid up to Diggle all over again.
Well, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
What, she had a baby with him as a cover?
A honeypot! Dude, do you not know anything about spycraft?
Honeypot, that's Mission Impossible. That's like old spy stuff.
Yeah, that's spycraft. That is a literal actual thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I know what a honeypot is. So we'll see. Anyways, so they do all the big goodbye, like, oh, where are you guys going? They hit each other, but then we get a quick flashback where Oliver's gonna this time. Well, I love how Oliver's calling her China White, and everyone else refuses to.
China White.
That's right.
That's a comic book thing, though. So.
Yes. So they go, and that's obviously we see Oliver's going to start torturing again. But then we go to the little fight, and I thought this was a little. I was kind of hoping we'd see Arrow get Barry's like a gas arrow or something. Like he grabs and goes, "Ha! Uh-oh." I think that would have been a better ending.
Well, he said that was a reference to Rocky 3, so Mark did, which is his favorite movie. The ending.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Of course. Of course. Of course. I thought you meant something they said. Yes. Oh my God. It totally is. I didn't pick up on that at first.
That's
Although they
with
did
the
mention Rocky.
Rocky music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
They couldn't
Yeah.
really get this.
I know.
yes, but we get this. It's this cute little scene between. I like how they actually have to. They actually let themselves suit up.
Yeah.
All right. So I think. Is there anything else we want to touch upon for this mega crossover?
You guys don't do. You guys don't do.
How about the music?
Yeah, you guys, I don't know what you want.
It was a mashup. Literally.
It was.
If you deconstruct it, there were mashups.
Yep.
That was the best thing about it for me. I told you that.
Yeah, I love the music. I hope we see a lot of those tracks on the Flash soundtrack.
We'll probably
And
have
Arrows. Yeah.
Oh, I had a question. Do you think they did the episodes the way they did, like 2 self-contained ones, for like when they released the like DVD
Oh my
sets and
God,
everything?
it's probably true.
Well,
Yeah.
and probably because Arrow's ratings have been down so bad. Like this literally, like they were at a 0.9
The
last.
season has been weak.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying. This week it was up to a 1.4, and Flash only got a little bit of a bump at 1.5.
Yep.
Oh yeah, didn't they say this was like the second highest rated?
Yep.
Arrow
It's the
episode?
pilot, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, they better start adding metahumans in there, I guess. Then.
No, but like the Flash people, I told you, everybody who watches Arrow watches the Flash. Not everybody who watches the Flash watches Arrow, and that just
right.
proves my point.
Yep.
I told Kelly, I was like, dude, Arrow will probably go up. Flash, it's as steady as a rock as it's ever gonna get.
Yeah. And she was right. Well, it went up just a teeny.
Just a peeny, but like it's still in that 1.4, 1.5 range that it's always been in.
All right. Anything else?
Nah, I'm good.
I think we're good.
All right. Plugs in one. Anyone want to tell anyone how to get in touch with anything?
You go first, Zach, since you're the host, the main guy running the show. That's it.
he don't know it. I got it. For the Flash, to get a hold of the Flash. To get a hold of the Flash Arrow Power Hour podcast, our email is flasharrowpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, Flash Arrow Power Hour Podcast. Our Twitter is @FlashArrowPod. We're on Instagram, _Flash Arrow Pod, and Tumblr is /FlashArrowPod.
And if you like to send Phil threatening Twitter or emails, you can do that too.
I already got Zach to do that.
You want to do Flash, Kelly, the Flash stuff? I'll do the Arrow stuff.
You would ask me that, and I don't have them all right here.
I'm gonna choke you!
I know. Normally I have them up, but I don't have all that stuff up right now.
Boy, it's a good thing we're not on a mic or recording. or
Yeah.
anything.
Hey.
I'm sorry.
We can edit. Thank you very much.
Does
Rob's gonna leave
anyone have
that in because I'm the crazy one.
She is.
does anyone have the total tonight of how many times Lilith has threatened people?
I think it's 10. But
10?
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 10.
Okay, so you guys had your chance. So now, final thoughts. Everyone, what did everyone think of the crossover?
Not as epic as I thought. It was
I'd
gonna
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be one big episode, but
Yeah, it just felt kind of shoehorned to me. I enjoyed the second half definitely more than the first, but it just felt kind of rushed.
well,
Yeah.
I think they tried to shoehorn all the supporting characters in because they wanted so much Barry and Oliver.
Yeah, I mean, of course I didn't hate it, and I liked parts of it, but overall, I expected more. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think it was just where they were in both series in story arcs. Lilith and I talked about this earlier. It was kind of a rough place to try to put this. If you think about it, in each show's storylines, you kind of had to put things on pause for a while.
Yeah, they probably should have waited till the second half of both seasons.
Yeah.
Well, no, they have no room in Arrow for the second half of the season.
No.
I know that for a fact. I don't know what the hell the Flash is doing, but Arrow is going to be so epic after we get back from the mid-season finale. Like it's like how season 2 was.
Yes,
Yeah.
and as we see, Arrow's going to be busy knocking off Batman Begins.
Well, duh. I mean, that's all Arrow does is knock off Batman stuff. I mean,
No, but I love how blatant this knockoff is. He's
Yeah.
literally fighting Ra's al Ghul in the
on a
snow.
mountain. Yeah.
Bare chest.
With the even the coat and the scarf and the hat. Yeah.
I mean, it's not even subtle.
Cisco should have just given Oliver a cape with that
No.
new suit.
I'm saying.
All right, so I think that covers all our thoughts. Does anyone want to give any? How shall we sign off from this illustrious event? With silence,
Well-
I like it.
Listen to both podcasts every week.
Definitely.
Don't fail this city or this podcast.
Like
That's
we have.
right. Download, rate, and review, folks.
This is a hot mess.
All right, I gotta go.